All right, I know you've been expecting it. You're ready for it. It's here, the giant Cheez-It from Taco Bell. We've got it all prepped up and ready to go. And, oh wow, it's breaking completely as I'm trying to remove it from the container. But here it is, the giant Cheez-It tostada. Try to give a nice little view. I don't know how well you can see it from the side, but here it is. It is indeed a giant Cheez-It. So I'm gonna break the edge off, and we're gonna get a taste of just this Cheez-It so we can kind of sample and profile just the item itself. Crispy around the edges for sure. Soggier towards the middle where all the hot meat has been piled on top of it, but that's to be expected. The tostada itself is definitely crisp. It's definitely got that kind of like baked in cheesy flavor. It tastes like a Cheez-It, which, you know, may seem like an obvious statement, but I feel like when you see something like this, that's the big question. Does it really taste like a Cheez-It? Is it some weird, odd knockoff thing? Is this collab legit? You know what I mean? You never know if they're trying to dupe us or not, but this, I mean, it tastes pretty legit, pretty much like a real Cheez-It. The one thing I'm not getting compared to just a normal from the box Cheez-It is I'm not getting that kind of like flaked on salt. I feel like you can taste the single grains of salt stuck to a Cheez-It a lot of the time. I'm not getting that as much so with these edge pieces of the tostada, but I feel like all the meat and everything is going to be salty enough, so I feel like you don't need any extra salt with this necessarily. Okay, it's got the Taco Bell ground beef, some cheddar cheese, sour cream, tomatoes, lettuce, you know, all piled on top of this big Cheez-It. I almost feel like the flavor of the Cheez-It is getting lost behind all the stuff on top of it. I'm getting a lot of like lettuce flavor. I'm getting the meat, but I feel like the whole Cheez-It just kind of ends up feeling like an afterthought. It's kind of all the flavor of the Cheez-It gets lost behind everything on top of it for sure. And my initial impression is that there's nothing like extra about this that a normal tortilla, tostada, a regular crispy flat thing, whatever. There's nothing about this flavor-wise that like elevates it or makes it more desirable than just a normal tostada. So in that regard, I gotta say the big Cheez-It is kind of gimmicky, but it's not adding anything to the dish. And so that's, you know, it feels more like a novelty thing. But there's not a lot of actual flavor that the Cheez-It is bringing to this as a complete dish. Which, I mean, I think makes sense. But yeah, that's my initial impression of the tostada. I think I would maybe overall give this like a 3, maybe. I was gonna go a little lower and say 2, but I mean, there's nothing bad or offensive about it. I feel like if you got it really hot and fresh, the meat was warm, the cheese was kind of melted on there, there is some nice stuff there, but there's just nothing special about it. There's nothing that's really wowing me about that by any means. So here is the Crunchwrap, Big Cheez-It Crunchwrap. And I believe it's the same as a normal Crunchwrap. It's got the ground beef, lettuce, tomato, and then it's got that giant Cheez-It in the center, some nacho cheese in there as well. All that stuff. So yeah, we'll try this as well. I almost feel like the Big Cheez-It flavor is coming through a little bit more in this, oddly enough. Because it tastes like a normal Crunchwrap. You get all the flavors of a plain regular one. But then you get kind of this baked little like cheesiness coming in beneath it. And it's like, okay, what is that? What is that? Hitting us on top of the head and popping up on us. I'll say initially I like it more in the Crunchwrap than the tostado, than just the plain tostado. And maybe it's the contrast between the Big Cheez-It and all the tortilla shell that it's wrapped in kind of causes your palate to perceive the Big Cheez-It a little more than just the plain Cheez-It with all the toppings on top of it. Maybe you need that kind of contrast to be like, okay, I'm getting a lot of shell all around it, but there's something cheesy, there's something different inside. Maybe that's kind of the key to the flavor of it coming through in, a fully together dish. But I don't know. I gotta say, there's still nothing about this that like makes it hugely desirable. Excuse me. There's nothing about this that makes it hugely desirable beyond just a regular Crunchwrap, as far as I'm concerned. I would maybe give this a 5, straight mid tier, because I do feel like you're getting the flavor of the Cheez-It a little more, and it's coming through, and kind of it's like just like a distinct little surprise amidst all the regular Crunchwrap flavors that you're kind of accustomed to. But at the same time, I feel like there's nothing about this that is really wowing me, like I was saying for the other one. There's nothing that the flavor that the Cheez-It is adding does not really elevate this beyond just a normal one. And I almost feel like the Cheez-It would be better just plain with nothing on it as like a side item. And you buy that and you have a burrito and then you split the giant Cheez-It with a friend. I feel like that would be like the ideal usage of that. And it's like a Taco Bell exclusive thing, and it promotes Cheez-Its, and it's a nice little collab, and people get that as a side and enjoy it as a side dish with their meal. But I feel like trying to incorporate the giant Cheez-It into Taco Bell classic dishes, the flavor of it, that kind of baked, cheesy Cheez-It flavor, I feel like it doesn't necessarily pair well or match with like the classic Taco Bell flavors, the kind of like seasoned ground beef and like the liquid nacho cheese and everything, the sour cream and the lettuce on top and everything. Like, I feel like when you eat a burrito, you don't think like, I want some Cheez-Its with this. You know what I mean? It's just not, it's two separate realms of flavor. and I feel like they don't necessarily have any business being mashed together. So I feel like it's an interesting thing to like randomly see a commercial for at Taco Bell, but I feel like it's just kind of like odd and bizarre, and it's more of a novelty than anything else. But I feel like flavor-wise, it doesn't necessarily mesh, and it's kind of odd. Trying to analyze it from, you know, a flavor perspective, whatever you want to say. Because there's nothing bad about this, but at the same time, I feel like I'm kind of reiterating the same points, but yeah, there's just nothing about this that's really elevating it. That's really standing out to me. So yeah, that's my big Cheez-It review. I thank you to everyone that watched this. Would encourage you to leave a like if you enjoyed. Leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what's up, how you've been, how you're doing. And subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And yeah, God bless. Hope everyone has a wonderful day. And yeah, just wishing you all well, sending positive energies and all that type of stuff.